This should be an interesting one. I have made some modifications to the Indian Chief. Only small ones. So, let me turn my music there. I've added the Dart Fly Screen, which I've got mounted about 4 centimetres off the top of the fork mount there. And I have rolled the handlebars back very slightly. And I've added some spotlights. All primarily based around creature comforts and that side of things. So what I was finding is, as I was riding this bike at motorway or highway speeds, it was getting a bit blustery for me, if I'm honest. And this seems to have moved the wind. I can still feel it on my helmet, but off my chest almost completely, which is lovely. I might try it slightly higher up. Yeah, what I found is because I've got a slightly knackered shoulder and a slightly knackered back, the reach on this one was a little bit off for me, and I was finding I was having to kind of hunch forward a little bit more than I liked. And I know it's not designed to be hunched over like that. It is a bit more of a setup and begging for it type bike, but I was still finding myself like just in the slightly the wrong angle. So all I've done is I've just turned the bars forward back half an inch is all. That's made a very pleasant difference. And then what I've done is I've had a sheepskin seat cover from ages ago that I've put on this black one, which just gives the seat a little bit of an extra lift. And then with the windscreen on, it seems to be surprisingly good at the moment. But yeah, still very much testing the water. This is the first 10 minutes or so of being out with the changes, so it's still very early days. And it is bastard cold today. So, and it says it's like 9 degrees on the thing, but I use AccuWeather because it's accurate weather. And it says the real feel is like -2 degrees centigrade. So because of it's just, I mean, it's beautifully clear, but it is a bit chilly, a little bit nipply, shall we say. Equal silly buggery. Well, the best thing about a motorcycle is you can bypass all the fuckers. Well, isn't this just a wonderfully pleasant experience? Bit of bare naked ladies on the music, the sun setting. It's fucking cold, but I'm on a motorbike. I mean, the sole purpose of this ride today is my kids had my wife's taken the youngest to a football game, the middle and eldest aren't at home, so I've got to feed myself tonight, which means I'm going to go and find myself a bloody ready meal, because I can't be asked cooking for just myself. I've got in the habit of having too much takeaway, and I'm getting fat and lazy and lethargic, and I just don't want to do it anymore. So I'm going to get myself a relatively healthy, easy meal. Obviously there's only so healthy you can get with that shit, but we'll see how we go. Oh, she's got some yellow spotlights going on. They're working. I did forget to close that. That was probably silly. It's got white lights as well, but that's the Dart Fly Screen. I'm actually going to lift it up slightly and see what it does for me. I don't like this switch. It's a cheap Chinesium switch, but I will find a better one to go on there. Maybe a machined aluminium one or something like that. But not the highest of priorities right at this moment. And apologies if breathing heavily. I'm full of snot and cold, so I have to mouth breathe, which I hate. But yeah, that's smaller than that, Mr. B. I don't want to go too high because I think it might look a bit rubbish. I think you can get away with that. I mean, the highest it goes is up like that. But I think just about there. Yeah, that looks about good. A little bit higher. It's only an inch or so higher, but I think that might make a difference. So anyway, this is Le Chief in current form. There's not much extra to it. Craft ride panniers with a craft ride sissy bar. I've got the sheepskin seat cover. Rolled back the handlebars, quad lock phone mount. Burley Brands bag. Amazonian branded spotlights that are actually built like a tank. They're really, really good actually. Just the switch gear's crap, but I can pick up a decent switch to go with it. And the Dart Fly Screen, that's about it really. There's not much more to it, because I don't think it's... and the exhaust, obviously. I did the shorty exhaust, which, let's face it, she does sound pretty good. So we can get going. Oh, let's see how we do it. Oh, and the quad lock's charging. I added the quad lock switch down to one of the bars there to make life even easier. These Digi-Osmo cameras, honestly, they are so much better than the GoPro crap that I was using before. I'm never going back to GoPro. The amount of faff and hassle that was caused by fucking GoPro was ridiculous. Actually, just whilst we're here, I'm wearing this rucker jacket and it's got one of these neck strap things. Oh. Unfortunately, it's not designed for people with a neck like mine, I don't think. It's supposed to have a thin neck and it'll work for you. But there ain't much on me that is thin, unfortunately. But that does bring a smile to my missus's face most of the time. It's very chuckable for a big bike. particularly agile on a small bike either. I do have fun. So here's one for you. It's currently chilly, as you can see. Most people are wearing big thick jackets and stuff like that, and there's not many people bopping around in any meaningful way, except for the lunatic in the park just now who's in a pair of shorts. And I'm probably preaching to the converted, but if you're out in cold weather, wear yourself a windproof jacket, a jumper and a base layer, and your torso will remain lovely warm. Then these boots that I've got on go halfway up my calf. Got a nice thick pair of socks on, lovely warm feet. Again, they're waterproof, so by nature they're windproof. And then I've got essentially a pair of Under Armour base layer trousers on underneath my riding jeans, and I am toasty. The only thing I always get is cold hands, but that's down to I've always got cold hands basically. Don't know what it's called, but there is a thing. Shit circulation is probably what it's called. But yeah, I get very cold hands and very, very numb fingers when my hands get cold. These gloves, these are Gore-Tex as well, so again windproof, but again I've already lost most of the sensation in my thumbs. Wearing massive great winter gauntlets that are Gore-Tex and all thermally lined and stuff like that. It's just one of those things. I do have a pair of heated gloves, but they're only cheap heated gloves, and they are massively thick and cumbersome. I don't really like them because they're cheap. I don't trust the protection on them, whereas these I still feel like I'd slide about a little bit if I didn't fall off. Whereas I probably wouldn't trust the others to wipe me arse with. But I am looking at some heated gloves, I think, for next winter. I don't think there's much point in buying any for this winter, because we're coming out of, well, we're in spring, we're coming into warmer weather and, you know, brighter days and all that sort of stuff, so we're not going to be, I'll not be struggling with it nearly as much as I have been. And I think I'll get some of those like heated by the bike ones which you plug in, because the idea of cocking about with the battery annoys me. And yeah, I think they're called Magna or something like that. But I think that will work lovely. I mean, so far I think raising that slightly has made a world of difference. I'm happy my spotlights are staying where I put them. I like that. They should do, they are cranked down within an inch of their lives. I've not thread locked them or anything like that. I wanted to test them, make sure that everything's good, but now I'm happy. And a good tip for anything motorcycle related, if you are bolting it onto your bike, especially if it's a big twin like this that rattles and bumps and vibrates, once you're happy with everything's position, thread lock it. Just for your own peace of mind. A tuber thread lock costs next to nothing, and it's dead easy to do. You don't need to talk shit down to stupid tightness. A lot of this stuff is plastic on aluminium and stuff like that, and if you over tighten it, you're just going to fuck it completely. So a little tiny dab of thread lock just stops the bolts from vibrating out, and you'll be good for years. Just don't get into that thing where people seem to be cranking down and everything. On my old Gixxer, I had to put a couple of threaded inserts into a load of the fairing mounts and stuff like that, because someone had tightened them up so much they'd managed to strip out all the threads, and it just meant that bits of the bike rattled. So it's fine if you're comfortable drilling it out and tapping it and putting a threaded insert and stuff like that in, which I don't mind doing, but I'd rather not. I've got this Arai Concept XE helmet. I think it was a Rapide when I bought it, and I got the flip down visor, the external visor for it, which is, I'll pop a picture on if I remember to take a picture of it, but it's a cool looking thing. I like the look of it. And up until then I'd not noticed I had it on until I turned my head slightly and there was a bit of crosswind and you could just hear a little bit of a whistle. So there you go, you can notice it when it's on your helmet when you're doing 70ish and you turn your head at a stupid angle because you're looking at a field. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna head home. Hope you have enjoyed seeing the bike. I know I've enjoyed riding it. Onwards, James. Amazingly, this thing is still recording. So, if the mic's still going, actually I don't even know if the mic's still in place, but hey. Overall, very happy with all the modifications. I think they are all significant benefits and improve the enjoyability of this bike. So, with that, thanks very much for listening if you have been and if you can still hear me. Otherwise, I will catch you on the next one. Cheers. Oh, and subscribe and like and all that bollocks if you want to.